Let's call the meeting of January 27th, 2022 to order.
Mayor Siciliano,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Napolitani,
Here.
Council members Achara,
Here.
Donlin, here, Fisher,
Here. All right, so we're here. We're gonna, the notice requirement for the Open Public Meeting Act for this meeting has been satisfied. Copy of the annual notice is sent to the Asbury Park Press Coaster, posted in Town Hall, and filed in the office of the municipal clerk on December 9th, 2021. So we got quite an agenda here. We're gonna go over. Where do you want to start? I see we have Ed DeFilia here from Shade Tree, or the environmental committee as well. So we want to start there, folks. You okay with that?
Sure.
Dave Brown?
Up to you, Mayor. That's fine with me. I had the chief lined up first. I don't, Chief, you
Oh,
got.
I'm sorry, Chief. If you need to do something first, let's do that. Let's get the chief going.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody. I know the governor signed that new legislation about the open container laws. So I know
Yep.
that was on your agenda for discussion. You know, there's some ordinance changes that would need to occur. I have spoken to a few of you, and Mike Patrica, who's also on tonight. You know, township events, we'd have no issue as long as there's, you know, proper supervision. Our concerts, movies, 4th of July, stuff like that. Obviously, we allow it at Palaia Park for the festival, and at some of our rec centers with, you know, supervision from rec center employees. We could expand it to the golf course and to the pool complex under certain restrictions. We wouldn't be in favor of, you know, allowing it without supervision. So obviously, a township event, as long as it's not a drive-up event, we would be, you know, there would be support. We'd be, you know, supervise it and manage it. And again, you know, and that's up to you guys with permissions, maybe an extra fee. I'm not sure how it would affect our liability insurance as well. Those are all considerations.
Okay, I think for the, like you do with the pool, the golf course, I guess treat it like you do now with the rec center and any other facility rental, right? Is that how you were thinking, Chief?
Yeah, you know, if you have a golf tournament or, you know, we have a softball tournament, allowing it, you know, under supervision, not just, you know, free reign to do it.
Right.
I know there was about the pool complex restricting glass, things of that nature. We would need to have some sort of guidelines.
The pool complex, we stopped doing it there because people would show up 11 o'clock on a Sunday and they just really start hitting it hard. You know, there's families there and they're trying to enjoy the pool. So I think if somebody wants an event where it involves alcohol at the pool for a party, maybe we restrict them to later hours or something. You know, like
later hours, or however they control their picnic area. If they, you know, rent it out for an event like a, you know, a family party or something like that. And that's, Mike, you want to chime in on how you control that?
you're muted, Mike.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
My concern is having our pool hours open for public swim and allowing open containers there and having families, like you said, Chris, they're drinking, you know, all day on a hot 90-degree day.
Right.
I'd like to allow liquor there or beer there on like a special event basis. You know, if the fire department or police department want to have their, you know, summertime family get together, you know, and, you know, volunteer parties, thing like that, I think that's in the consideration where with us allowing a cooler, you know, into the facility. But to allow the public to drink at the pool, I am skeptical about that. Of course, I'm totally okay with.
Yeah, no, I think we're all on the same page there. We don't want it to be a, you know, show up 11 o'clock on a Saturday, everybody, and bust out a beer. And then, you know, the non-watchfulness of dad and the kids drowning, you know, we don't want that. We want it, like you said, I think special occasion, by permit only, something like that. So we know who's doing what when, and it's, you know, not an everyday thing.
That's They just got to run it past, if they, request liquor for a special event, they run it past me and I run it across, run it in front of Dave and, mayor and council. If they get the approval to have liquor there, I'm okay with that, as long as they get approval. I just don't want them coming with coolers and just drinking all weekend.
Agreed. So I think it's something we can work with. We got a little time, but we should put something in before the golf season really starts. I would say that would be the kickoff for events at the park. I don't think we really have an event before April anyway there, right, Mike?
No, we don't.
Okay. All right, cool. You good, Chief?
Yes, sir. I think we're all on the same page with that.
Yeah, I think
it requires some extra supervision and monitoring, but we're all for it. Like I said, the ball's in our court, so we can allow it as you see fit.
yeah, something responsible and reasonable. No walking a dog at the park and drinking a beer. We're not going to have that.
Great.
Sorry, Mike, you can't do it. Anyway, all right. Anything else, Chief, that you have while you're here?
Mr. Matters, do you have anything else on your agenda for me?
Just wanted to update the cannabis licensing. As you know, governing body just endorsed illicit here in town for 2 licenses, endorsement of the cultivation, and also endorsement for manufacturing. It's come to my attention now that the state of New Jersey is only going to allow for 1 license per company. So they will not be afforded both licenses at the state level. So with the permission of the governing body, it was advised to me to go back to talk to them to seek to see which one they are most highly interested in. And then at some point, if the governing body wished, we can go back out for whichever one they decide they don't want to pursue. The other thing that I found out was that was contacted by Marianne Bays of NEC Provisions. She lives here in town. She's also the vice president of the Cannabis Association. It's almost like the Chamber of Commerce for cannabis businesses. And she was asking the governing body to amend the ordinance to provide for more than 1 license. But with my pre-mentioned situation, we may not have to do that, because then she would be able to pursue that other open license that either be cultivation or manufacturing.
So let me ask you this right now. We approved something, and I'm just going to say it. The reason I didn't go with the ordinance in the beginning was I thought we had too much out there. I know the rest of you folks are okay with, hey, anything except for retail sales, which we didn't want at all, except for maybe medical, but we already have that nearby. This was going to be what I thought would happen. Let's see how 1 works first before we go ahead and issue a license for anything else. I mean, that's my thought. And this is all new to everybody, the control mechanism, how it's going to work out. We have out there now. Now, was this bidder awarded for a cultivation or a manufacturing? What was it that we put out there?
Both, and they took both of them. And like I said, to new information now, they're not going to be able to get both at the state
So
level.
we got to, okay, so they're waiting for us to decide which one we're going to allow them to have one of them.
Well, no, Mayor, technically we endorsed them from both. So we now as a town should go back to illicit and say, which one are you really going for?
Right, you can only have one at this time.
Exactly.
And then that would open up the other one.
Correct.
Right. So I think we do that and not pursue the other ones for now, even though we're allowed to. I wouldn't put any out, and I definitely don't want to expand it to more than 1 per, per vendor. You know what I mean? Not per vendor, but I don't want to have 2 cultivations, 2 manufacturing, 2 anything really. Really didn't want any of them for now, but we have it. It's there now. I have to get involved so we can control it. And I feel it's our duty to do it that way. So I'm thinking, go back to them, see which one they pick. I'd rather not put any of the other ones out yet. I don't know how the other guys, how you all feel, Marge and John and Dave and Rob, but that's my thought for now. Let's see how this one works out. And if it takes a year or 2 to see how it gets up and running, so be it. But it's new. Let's get the kinks out of it first.
Oh, I agree with
Mayor, based on the timelines that, I mean, it's not like a license gets issued and they open up tomorrow. I mean, you're still a good 18 months to 2 years off anyway at this point. Based on what I've researched. I mean, it's not an instantaneous license that comes out, and the award process is long and drawn out. Out of those two, manufacturing and cultivation, I think that one of them was application opening was December of some date. And then I don't even think the other one was open yet. Dave, you could correct me on that if I'm wrong. I think the other one opens in March anyway. So the March 15th is dispensary, which we do not allow here in Ocean Township. Is it for that or for manufacturing or no, cultivation and manufacturing is happening right now. Okay, so they're both in the hopper. Dispensary is up next on March 15th. And then I would think the rest will follow. Distributor and wholesaler will probably come later in the year. Okay. Well, Chris, I don't want to, I disagree with you, but I kind of do. I'd rather throw them both out there, see what, if we did open it back up like we did with this one, because obviously Illicit was the only company that went forth with it, which was a little surprise. I couldn't believe that not more than one came in, but I don't have a problem with going back out. That's just my opinion. I'm one person.
And just to clarify, Dave, what you're suggesting, and I'm in agreement, find out what Illicit wants, but Marty and Dave, keep me honest, do we got to go back out to RFP to solicit? I mean, she didn't respond to the original RFP. We're not just going to give her a carte blanche to say, okay, sure, you can file. We're going to have to go back to RFP. Okay.
Correct. And we go out to RFP, whichever class is open.
Right. I agree with, I mean, listen, I voted no, so I'm certainly in agreement with Chris. The less, the better. So if we want to wait, give Illicit a shot and see if they make it, great. I'd rather not go back out.
Hey, Dave, what is the rationale for issuing only one license per company versus having it all under one roof that one company could come in and satisfy all these different things?
To my understanding, the Murphy administration and the state basically wants to make this as diverse as possible and give more opportunities as possible. So this way, one company's not hogging up all of the licenses.
Right, I see that.
Give everybody a shot to get a license.
Yeah, my only concern is that some people are really capable of handling this type of business, and some people are just, you're going to get in over their heads, and next thing you know, you got a situation where the business doesn't sustain because they can't keep it going, get the funding, get the, the timeline and that sort of thing. But I guess that's not for me to decide.
I think
I don't
that's
see
what.
anything wrong with going out now and asking for applications or opening that up, because we can always say no if it's not someone that we like, or we. So I just feel like it's, and I know we had talked about this before, and some of the better companies might be out there already looking for licenses versus waiting down the road, waiting too long for other companies to come out. Seems like the most prepared companies are waiting, are available now. So I'd be concerned about waiting too long.
Well, I would say if there were that many out there, how come we only got one application? If there were that many that interested in Ocean in doing it, I mean, we got one we put it out for 4, we got one company to respond. It really doesn't look like there's that much of a demand. But
So I'm going to
I guess if we open it up, and we're going to wait for them anyway, then I guess it doesn't matter.
So I'm with Margie on this. I think it's just an application process, and I think there's no reason to hold off, see what's out there. We can always say no, and then we'll decide where it goes. I don't, it's just business. Once again, it's just about a business that's being zoned in a particular spot, and I'm all for it.
Let me ask you guys this, and Dave and Marty. So we zoned it in that area. When we say a spot, is it the one site only that this is going to be, or is it going to be spread out throughout that industrial zone up in Sunset?
It could be 2 separate buildings, certainly in Sunset. One would be the cultivation, one would be the manufacturer. that certainly is a possibility. And actually a probability, I would guess. Although my recollection is that even this new potential applicant was looking to put it in the same building that the other applicant had. Isn't that correct, Dave?
Yes. But it seems that NEC, who's approached us recently, after the process, is also talking to the same location. So I'm not sure
That's a little better. I mean,
if everybody can fit
if we're
there.
gonna have multiple uses, I prefer it in one spot that's easier for, frankly, the chief and our guys to monitor and to really keep an eye on.
The only
Yeah,
issue is
facility,
there are different requirements for the different uses in terms of the security, in terms of the smell control, in terms of a bunch of things. So I don't know if it's conducive to one location, but it might be. You might have two, sections of a building divided up. We don't have the answer to that.
All right. Well,
Probably will be under the control of the state, who may say you need two separate buildings.
okay. All right. Well, we both said our piece. I made my feelings. I'm a kind of a one horse guy until I see it working out. But whatever the majority does, that's how we're going to go. But
Well, I mean, right now you've approved the 4 different uses. So unless you do something different, I guess Dave can go out for another. If there's 3 people right now on the council who are saying, let's open it for another RFP, that's what I think Dave would do. Right, Dave?
Absolutely. And we already have the RFP ready to go. It's just a matter of changing the dates.
and then we have the option of not taking anyone, even if it's one bit, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're recommending them to the state, and you could say, we have the issue that we don't want to recommend it. I don't know what happens if you do that, but that's certainly a possibility. We're all sort of in a new area, so.
All right. Well, what do you want to do? You going to take it by vote, or you taking it by what you just heard, Dave?
I don't know, because I kind of heard a 2-2, and Deputy Mayor, I'm not sure where he fell in at there.
I think John was with Margie, and
where I
Dave,
stand.
Rob was with the mayor.
Yeah, you know where I stand. I'm all for putting it out there. I think we're really missing the boat. I'll echo Dave's sentiments. I mean, you were 100% on target. At this point, it's business. And it's a revenue stream for the town. We're always looking for different ways that we can add to that revenue stream. So this is it. We either get on the train or we don't. We voted to go on the train. So now let's go and get the other people that are interested in doing it. I mean, Dave, somebody reached out to you afterwards, right? Dave Brown?
Yeah, that's the NEC company that I was just talking about.
And
All right.
looking at that company, just to let you know, it was an interesting company because all 3 who appear to be principals, it's all women-led company, which was interesting.
And at least one of them was Ocean Township resident as well.
Which one was that? NEC?
NEC Provisions.
So let me ask you a question. If they're that competent, how come they didn't reply at the beginning?
She said she didn't know anything about the process.
Well, how qualified can they be then if they want to open a manufacturing or a distribution facility in town and not following the laws and looking for the RFP?
Once again, Rob, I'd say we're all dealing with something new with a lot of municipalities. I don't think any of us can answer that question, but ultimately you're hoping that the state's review process will deal a lot with that as well. As we can look at them too, but
I think what Rob's saying is if they're really out there seeking a location, they'd have been all over the state and they've been paying attention to RFPs and anything anybody put out there. I'm not defending. I'm just saying that's what he's asking.
Right, that's my point.
If they're so sharp and ready to roll, how'd they miss this?
Right.
well, the other
And if they
possibility.
missed us, how much confidence do we have in them that if they miss that, they're going to miss anything else? Is this going to work out?
Well, what we have, and Dave, correct me if I'm wrong.
Mhm.
Apparently, what we've learned just recently is that the state is not going to approve a company for 2 licenses, 2 different uses. And so it may be they had applied somewhere else and had uses somewhere else. I mean, I don't know the answer. Had uses somewhere else, and then they found out from the state, no, they're not going to be able to do that. So now they're in line to try to open up a facility in a different municipality. Don't know the answer.
I didn't want to create I was just chiming in with Rob on that. So you're suggesting perhaps they were involved somewhere else and this.
I don't know. I have no idea.
All right, whatever. I think that at this point, unless you guys want to keep discussing it, I think what Dave Brown is hearing, the 3-2 to put it out for RFP. Unless you guys want to keep talking about it, I'm okay. I'm here.
Okay. I have my orders.
Well, you guys all right? Or are we still discussing?
I'm voting to put it out for RFP and see where it goes.
Me too.
Reggie?
I'm not, but you guys are better.
Well, I'm not. I think Margie, you are.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So next bit of business. That's 3 and 5. You want to go to anything else you want to go to now, Dave, or you want to go to Ed's?
I'll hold mine. We'll let the chief go if he's ready to go, and Mike, you can go too. And we got the town engineer and we got Shade Tree.
Okay.
Town engineer has a long list, so I don't know who we want to go first here. Greg,
Let's
you got something tonight?
It's
Bye,
about
Mike.
11.
I got it.
All right. See you guys. See
It's up
you.
to you, Dave. Who you want to go first?
Shade Tree folks, you guys can hang in there while we go through the engineer report. Okay,
Shade
you're great. Run through it.
Okay, good evening. First item, just want to let everybody know we met with the people from Colonial Terrace last night regarding the traffic situation there. We met with the county engineer who's now on board, and we, kind of advised all the residents, the mayor council kind of supported this, put it together, and we've asked the county to partner with us to come up with a solution. Bottom line is everybody, all the residents were happy with it. They were happy about the mayor council putting this together. And we also told them that we're going to be collecting data, traffic data. The county agreed to do traffic studies on our roads as well as Asbury Avenue to get counts. And they're going to do the counts in late February or March and also in July. So we told the residents we'll be back to them in September with our some of our resolutions to the traffic problems. We're going to have another roundtable meeting with them, and they were happy with that. So we're kind of on our way with that study. Okay, next item, West Park Avenue repairs. Dave, you had asked me about the county. I did reach out to them, and the county engineer did get back to me. They have not done their repairs to that road yet. They missed the window before the winter hit. They will be doing them in the spring of 2022. Next thing, South Edgemere, the roadway failure. I met with JCP&L. With their field people, we have a temporary solution for the rerouting of the electric lines, which I need moved before I can put the sheet piling in. I'm waiting for that to be approved by JCP&L, and then we'll get our contractor together and get them going on installation of the sheet piling out there. Next item, 1515 Logan. Last time I told you the environmental stuff was scheduled for tomorrow. It still is, just alerting you to the fact that the environmental guys will be in there testing the water tomorrow and doing their final inspections on involving mold and asbestos. Next item is 12 Carberry. We're putting a new head wall replacement in there. The last one had settled and fell off the end of the pipe and was in disrepair. That work was completed today on that site. We just have to come back in the spring and do final restoration. The residents on both sides were happy with the situation. Soil testing of the ponds, I still haven't gotten that done. The ponds are frozen. So we're having trouble waiting on the weather, but as soon as the weather is conducive, I've got the boat. We've got a boat lined up through the Wanamassa Fire Department. They're going to let us use it to get out into the middle of the ponds and test these, to get the soil samples. It's just I got to wait for the weather to be more in our favor with no ice on the water. Next item, I gave you the preliminary ordinance for the RG the telecommunications or 5G. Didn't know if anybody had a chance to review that. One thing I wanted to do, and looking through it myself tonight, maybe we could put this off to the next meeting because I want to give you guys a markup of what's actually changed. I want to give you what's in the ordinance that's new. It's only the first, I think, 4 sheets are new. Everything from page 4 on is the new ordinance, but there's 2 items in the first 4 sections of those pages that are actually inserted as part of this ordinance. So if you haven't had a chance to review it, I probably want to put that off till next meeting, and if you want, we'll discuss it in a little more detail.
Where is this new ordinance coming from? Is it from the state or is it something we have to do?
No, it's something I'm recommending we do because what's coming, the 5G companies are coming. They tried to start putting poles in about 2 years ago, and the county actually got into the middle of a lawsuit with them, so that kind of stifled them for a little while. But right now there are no rules out there for 5G and where they can put all the poles. So they have a right under the utility laws to come in and put their communication poles, not use the existing, and put poles every 100 feet, like a 20-foot high pole. So this ordinance is to regulate that. We do.
Okay. 'Cause I know Little Silver just recently passed something.
Yes,
which
that was. I'm near Little Silver, so I'm very familiar with that one. But that's why we did it, because there's a company coming into Little Silver. They wanted to put poles every 100 feet, and they didn't want to use the existing poles. We denied them. We came up with this ordinance, and really the main crux of this ordinance, there's a couple items in there, but the biggest one is we're going to require the 5G company to give us an overall layout of all of Ocean Township and 8 pieces of the neighboring town they need to provide service in our town. And in doing that, that provides where all the pole locations are. Then we can kind of, agree or disagree with all the poles they're putting in, because we certainly don't need more poles in town.
Right. Agreed.
Yeah.
So that's why I think maybe I'm going to give you guys another markup. I'll kind of highlight it in yellow, what's new and what's old. That way I think it'd be easier for you to kind of follow through, because the existing telecommunication ordinance does not really address, the amount of poles, other than it kind of does, but it doesn't. Next item.
Are you trying to introduce this at the next meeting, February 10th, or we're just going to discuss it again?
I think we ought to discuss it first, and then once the council's kind of, understanding of everything I'm looking for there, then I think we can introduce it after that.
Sounds good to me.
Everybody digest it a little bit. Okay, the next item is, last time we talked about the BJ's jug handle. Dave came up with a great solution. We had that money that we credited back from the 1903 program, because we didn't do Washington Avenue and some other things that have been pushed off to the 20 program. So there was about $250,000 that we had coming back to us. So we now have tagged that money to do the BJ's jug handle. We've added on it to the 21 road program. So we will, the 20 road program. So we'll be doing that in the springtime. So we'll finally be getting the BJ's jug handle done.
Great.
Okay, then the next one, last meeting we had talked about one of the residents out on off of Poplar. They wanted to look at putting crosswalks across Poplar. I did look at that, and I would recommend and maybe give you guys a chance to look at it. The road Manor Drive intersects Poplar Road in 2 locations. Manor Drive has sidewalk all the way around Manor Drive as a loop coming back out to Poplar. Poplar has sidewalk on both sides from West Park Avenue down to about Kenneth, with a couple of spots missing. But I think if we go on Manor Drive, it kind of gives a loop on both sides of the road, kind of get people across left and right and through both complexes. So that would be where we kind of target these 2 locations, and we can add that into any program we have if the council's in agreement.
So you want the crosswalk at the North Manor entrance or the south?
Both.
Both, do both, okay.
Yeah, that kind of gives everybody a loop. If somebody's looking to be walking out there, instead of just going up and down Poplar, they can walk in, come down Poplar, walk the loop around there, and come back out on the other side and go back up. So it gives a pretty nice route.
Okay.
And the last thing I have on my agenda is we visited the Kepwell site yesterday. Everybody kind of looked at it, but most importantly, I think, is I had the environmental guys out there, and they both, on their initial inspections, found nothing that was suspicious or anything that warranted a lot of concern. They will do their due diligence on the paperwork side of it, but from that point of view, I think environmentally we're looking pretty good on that site. And that's all I have.
Great, thanks.
Okay.
Greg, I got a question. Got a couple questions for you.
Okay.
Do you know if when they move that firehouse, is there any plans to somehow get that sidewalk over to you know, coming from the manor, is there going to be an extension over there at some point?
Yeah,
Are they going to put sidewalks in there?
yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because that was my exact concern when I looked at this, and I'm going to look into their site plan, and I'm going to kind of recommend that that be looked at because that would really tie us all the way down to Deal Road.
Yeah.
That would be a nice thing. I'm going to bring that up with them and see if they will put that in for us.
And my final question is, I'm starting to see these, you know, power boxes popping up around town. My opinion is I don't love them. You know, they're quite unsightly, those 5G boxes. What is our, do we have any recourse in this situation?
No, this is the typical, these are utilities that we really can't deny. We just, you know, we can kind of try to help, you know, facilitate where they're going to go and keep them in the right of ways. And that's what we've done. We've pushed them off the road as far as possible. But they've gotten 5 approved so far. And I believe, I'm pretty sure the guy had, one of the utility companies reached out to Dave and wanted a meeting for, you know, some additional infrastructure they want to build. I don't know if it's the underground lines, which I think is where they're going now. But that's really what we're looking at is this is what their network's going to be, is to put these cabinets and then connect them with cabling.
So what is this? This is the power source for the 5G network?
I don't, it's not a power source. I think it's just their connection points.
Yeah, it's Altice improving their infrastructure. Obviously, prior to I got here, I guess there was some bad connections during when COVID first hit and everybody was home. It seemed that Ocean Township's internet was failing. And this is Altice's response to that failing to improve the infrastructure and make sure everyone stays connected.
Yeah, I mean, it just, unfortunately, they're just sort of unsightly. You know, it's sort of like, I just wish there was some way to even landscape around them. They just look, you know, whatever. It's my opinion. I don't love them.
And I think one of the things we will look at is possibly it's some landscaping. I just got to watch because in a couple locations where we were looking to put sidewalks across, or like the one on Deal Road, we're looking to get sidewalk on that side also. So that's why we had them push it back. But certainly a little landscaping would go a long way around these things.
Yeah, I mean, they just,
I'll talk with them, see if we can get them to do that.
Good.
Any other questions for Greg? I got a quick update on Ocean Glades. We're now in the process of submitting the mandatory deadline notification, which informs the New Jersey DEP that we're unlikely to meet the May 7th, 2022 remediation timeframe. And we're also submitting the remedial timeframe notification, which requests an extension of the mandatory deadline for an additional year. So in short, basically, we were required to remediate that site by May 7th. Obviously, that's not happening. So we're asking for an additional year, which will take us to May 7th, 2023. And for our next workshop, I'm asking our COA planner, attorney, Greg will be back, and we'll be focused on Ocean Glades at the next workshop to talk more extensively about what's going on over there and where we think we're headed. And finally, from my side, and then we'll turn it over to Shade Tree, is that the mayor and I have set up a series of meetings with the Human Services Council leadership, and we are meeting with them, and things have been very productive. We met with the secretary the other day, and then we also are meeting in the near future. I think it's Monday. That we meet with the council's president. And then the mayor had an excellent idea, so I will turn it over to the mayor at this time.
Sure, let me get the eggs thrown at me. So, in the past, we've always had a member of council as a liaison to the Drug and Alcohol Alliance, and you know this group as well. We're on there as members. They meet now, I think it's quarterly, 4 times a year. I thought we maybe each of us would take turns getting on rotation and attend their meetings and kind of, you know, they always ask a member of the school board there what's going on in town with schools, and same with the police, what's going on police. So they like to know town events, what's going on, current events. So thought it'd be nice, and we can just have a sign up sheet and just go around the horn if you guys don't mind. But I think it'd be good for all of us to do one of those meetings, and you're really talking one a year for each of us when it comes down to it. Everybody okay with that?
Yeah, I'd be happy to volunteer to do that.
Yeah, we'll take turns, you know. If for some reason someone can't make their meeting that time, they can swap with someone and we'll make it work out. But I think it's a good idea if we get back to that.
You want to send out an email with dates?
Yeah, I'm gonna get it from them. They have another meeting tomorrow, so hopefully they'll get, or Tuesday, whenever their next meeting is, they'll send us, oh, they have one next week, right, Dave?
Next week, Mayor, yes, next
Okay.
week.
Yeah, they have one next week that we don't have to start that. We can get the dates from them for their future meetings and start adding it to our calendars. It's a little quick for me to make up, to be able to attend the one next week, but you guys probably have busy schedules too, so. But we'll get their calendar. I'll share it with you guys and we'll pick meetings. Sound good?
Works.
Okay.
Okay, that concludes the administration report, and we have the shade tree with us this evening to talk
All right.
about the tree ordinance.
Norm
I'm
and
gonna sign
Ed,
off.
anybody
Yeah.
else?
Have a good evening, Greg.
Take care, Greg.
Okay.
Be well.
Norm, anybody else with you?
Well, I'm here, but Ed DeFilia, of course, is here. He's head of the Environmental Commission, and Ken Lutz, who was lucky enough, as I am, to be on both commissions, is actually the main driving force for the good work that's been done on revising the shade tree ordinance. And we consider it more, even though it's a shade tree-like thing, it's really more of an Environmental Commission project in that the Environmental Commission is the one who is tasked to provide comments on plans and developments and so on and so forth back to the Board of Adjustment and the Planning Board and so on and so forth, which of course the ordinance is a major factor in that as plans come in and we compare, see what's going on ordinance wise and so on and so forth. But we're all in this together. And so if you want to try and give me all the credit for all the work that Ken's done, I refuse to accept it.
Okay. No problem. I think you all do great work over there on a volunteer basis. Everybody, we recognize that, Norm, you, Ed, Ken, God knows what he's been doing for years for us, and the whole group, everybody that's on that committee, that group. We thank you for what you do. So we just, let's put it that way. So who wants to start off with the revised, is it a revision now or where are we at?
I'll just catch everybody up because I've been sort of the liaison between the shade tree and the
Thank you, Mark.
Environmental Commission and what's been going on. So the last time we brought this to council to discuss it in the workshop, it was probably, I think, a year ago. And there were some questions that we wanted, we wanted to know what the professionals thought, to kind of have some more revisions and discussions. So we've had a number of meetings with Ron Kirk and Dave Brown, and also some other experts from the community. We've looked at other ordinances in other towns to see what they're doing and what's reasonable. And the shade, Ken and Norm and everybody they've really done a lot of due diligence to bring forth the best revisions to our existing ordinance. And I think it's important to point out that although trees are, on our private property, it's also a shared resource and what makes our community an Ocean Township special. I was just listening to the screech owl last night that's out in my tree that probably wouldn't exist if, there wasn't an environment around us that allowed that, the owl to be out there. So it has to do with property values. It has to do with protecting our soil, preventing soil erosion, preventing flooding. Trees have a whole host of benefits. So we want to do a good job of protecting them in Ocean Township. And there's been a number of people who have been concerned about more trees being cut down without accountability, without permits, that sort of thing. So I just wanted to point out a couple things, the shortcomings of the existing ordinance. What we allow now is properties are allowed to strip 4 trees per year without any reason and without a permit. So we don't really keep track of what's being done. The fees currently that as they're set don't cover the cost of a replacement tree. So they don't cover the cost of putting a tree in the ground, watering it and taking care of it and bringing it up to a level where it can sustain itself. And there hasn't been any regulation for tree service companies as well. So it's, you know, we're working this, the new ordinance, the revised ordinance is, it works towards improving that. So the proposed modifications covers both deciduous and coniferous trees, and they always require a permit. So that's a big addition, sort of keeping track of what's out there. And we've had a number of meetings with Ron and Dave in terms of what the best way to do that. And there's some software that's going to be coming up that's going to help the township manage these permits and keep track of them. So it's the proposed modification includes allowing removal of 3 trees in a 5-year period. So that's different than 4 trees per year. And that can be without any reason. So it's going to allow 3 trees in a 5-year period removal. The fees you can remove more, but you have to either replace the tree according to the guidelines, or the fees have been increased to help cover the cost of replacement trees. And the fees for these permits also will cover a licensed tree expert in town, which will help with deciding, you know, whether a tree is, you know, what counts for dead and dying, if there's any issues, you know, with trees that are in the right of way, you know, other issues that might come up. And it's going to require that tree service companies apply for a register every year, and there'll be fines that for tree companies that violate the ordinance. I know last time we had talked about maybe, or there was someone who was concerned about not allowing work on the weekends, but there's no changes to that at all. Tree companies can work on the weekends as allowed by our current ordinance. So those are the basic things. If there's anything Ken, Norm, Ed want to add to that. And then I think basically what we want to do now is move it to introduction. Ron Kirk is good with it. Dave Brown is good with it. So we just wanted to see if anyone on council has any ideas.
I have a question though, Marge, and you guys help me out. So you went into, you need a permit, that's good. 3 trees in 5 years, but you can take more by way of replacing or fee-based. So guy wants to take more than because he's got a project going. What would be the fee or replacement that we're looking at?
Well, let me say one thing first. Let me interrupt just for 1 sec. First, the one thing, the dead and dying type, dead and dying trees don't count against those kind of numbers.
Okay.
Really in bad shape. Someone wants to, either we or some certified tree expert, I guess they're called licensed tree experts now, would have to say that the trees are bad, and then that doesn't count against anyone's totals, for example. So that's a good thing, because obviously a major problem, especially after storms and who knows what else is happening. And the other one was the $350 figure that we currently have that people have been paying, right, can barely pay for the tree, no less someone coming in and taking out a tree and whatever, and so on and so forth.
Agreed.
Right now, I believe the number we've put into the ordinance is $750 is what's in the ordinance. I personally think that people will still be paying that. It's not. I mean, there's a problem. See, there's two kind of people, right? Though there's people who are doing development and so on and so forth that have requirements like that are involved with when they have construction permits that already is in the ordinance in some way. Just that the numbers are still only $350, and the $750 may still not be enough to put in a tree, because the ordinance right now originally called for 4-inch trees or something like that, which are quite, pricier. Although it's not like there's so much more than a 2.5-inch tree, But right now, I think we're saying 2.5. We have 2.5 in the ordinance now, or are we still at 4 inches, or it's 2.5 versus 1.4 or something like that?
The replacement trees, either a 3-inch tree or 2 2-inch trees.
Okay, yeah, so 750 might be in the ballpark, although I suspect that most people will still do that. The trick of that money, that 350 went in 25 years ago or something like that.
Yeah.
And I think what the price was then, and how much that was a real penalty compared to putting in a tree back then.
Agreed.
Now, 750 is a bit of a penalty, but it's not the comparable penalty as it was back then. I'm not saying we shouldn't go with 750 because at least it's something, you know, at least people might realize it's something, you know, but I think the real number should be still a little higher at some point eventually, you know, or at least we should keep track of that as inflation starts building up. Like right now, it's going to be a great deal because everything's going up by who knows what, you know, whether it's milk or what else it is. Transportation costs and other things have made it, you know, with inflation, maybe we should have an inflation rider in there or something also. So I'm just pointing out something to think about before we actually finally issue the ordinance.
I think to that, Norm, instead of a rider, it should be like any other fees that are reviewed annually or every year, other year by the town, pool fees, recreation fees, that might want to fall under that. I mean, I agree with you. 25 years ago, we put a 350 in, and right, during that time, we should have amended that several times. And we didn't because it was under a different ordinance. It wasn't under the schedule ordinance.
Right, no, I'm saying, so I'm just pointing that out as a thing. Now, when we put this in, we'll see. If no one's ever puts in a tree and they just keep paying, then we'll know it's not
Low.
discouraging, you know, for them to take out the trees and whatever.
Right. Understood. Okay.
Just to be correct, though, if the fee actually increases for much larger trees.
Okay.
So if somebody takes out, let's say, a 15-inch tree, the fee is $1,500.
Okay.
There's
Good to know.
increased schedule,
All right. So there's a sliding fee schedule.
correct?
Okay.
Right. The other towns have that-
Just to be clear, if you're taking out 3 15-inch trees in a period of 5 years, there's no fee. Correct?
Right.
And what is the caliper of tree that you take out that's the equation of the 3 trees and/or payment?
6 inches.
6 inches to 12 inches.
Okay.
We're not right. See, right now, also, there's 2 ordinances. We have the regular tree ordinance and we have the
Commercial.
land development ordinance, okay? So homeowners could take out a 9-inch tree.
Right.
With no, if the tree was 8 3/4, let's say, they could just take down 50 of them. Okay? Whereas a commercial guy was taking out 56 of those trees, he'd have to pay. Now, so, and what's happening in town right now is that's what's happening. People are buying a house and pretty much cutting everything down, and it's not even, first, they're not, they you know, that 9-inch tree is quite large. You know, so we want to make everything 6 inches to at least try to keep all of that clear cutting from happening as a start with. Making those go back to the commercial requirement, because if we leave it at 9 inches, we're still going to be losing ridiculous amounts of trees.
Hey, guys and ladies, great job on this. I'm going to share my screen. Dave gave me permission to be a presenter real quick. I marked this up real quick. I just had a couple of questions. This way, instead of trying to read it to you, I can share it with you.
Thank you.
Me do. Hold on.
You are so advanced, Rob. It's like amazing.
Well, I know. All day, but this
I'm actually proud of you. I'm proud of you. I think it's great.
go-to meeting is not cooperating.
Let's
There
wait
you
until
go.
he has to do it first before we congratulate him.
All right.
Chris
So
and I can't get on, and you're sharing the screen. Very impressive.
all right, real quick, guys. On page 2, under historic tree, in the middle it has Shade Tree Commission, Environmental Commission, or Township official. Throughout the document, it specifies who the township official is. You may want to just specify it there too. On removal, it says removal shall not include pruning of 25%. Should it be up to 25%? I see a half a nod.
I think
I'm flagging all these. We'll review them very carefully.
I'll send it to you, but I'll read them as I go real quick. On tree specialist, it says the tree specialist shall be certified. I don't know. Does it need to be currently certified? I mean, it could have been certified 10 years ago. I'm just throwing it out there. That's Marty. Who needs to?
New Jersey has very strict rules about certifying tree experts.
So that makes-
Certified with CUEs, Rob.
Plus, if it says certified, the term is licensed now also. It's certified what we got.
That may be that, right, license. I'll update that. Under 9-2.3, tree removal prohibited. Does any and file with the township? Who does need to approve? Oh, so who approves the management plan? Any trees cut or removed in accordance with a management plan developed by, but who approves it? I'll just throwing it out there now. I'll send you the document. That's grammar. So if the
Council, where was the management plan at?
management plan is in 9-2.3, page 4,
Okay.
A2.
I think that may relate to some kind of, there's some ordinances statewide on woodlot management and so on and so forth, like that. That may be what that relates to.
Got it. I'll let you guys figure that. That's on. So on tree removal permits, on the last one, number 4, excuse me, A4, so top of page 5, living trees on golf courses, whether privately owned or municipally owned. So does the township need to pay into the shade tree fund if we're going to cut a tree down on the golf course?
Well, you don't have to pay into the fund if you replace the tree. And I was getting some stuff from my annual report for community forestry, and some of the stuff I got from Mike Patrico included, what they did as far as replacing trees and so on and so forth. But theoretically, I guess they should.
Just again, that's something to consider. I think. Second to last one. Under tree replacement, after all the pricing, all replacement species planting by by whom? Premises on which they are planted and shall be a type of tree and approved by. Again, it's who approves the type of tree.
Where are you?
I'll send it to you, Ken.
Okay.
We don't have to get this one. I will like to discuss though. So the turnaround time on an application is 10 days for a tree specialist to return the permit application within 10 business days date of application, and then on an appeal, it's going to take us 30 days to 30 days. And then it's actually 30 days for the approval of the application. Both of those seem high. I don't know what other towns have, but that just seems like a long time.
Well, 10 days might actually be very, very, very too short a time almost, because the tree expert has to show up from wherever that is. You probably have someone on contract or retainer, and 10 days could be just like you get it on Tuesday, and that's already got to be done by the next Thursday.
Well, 10 business days, so it would be 2 full weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's a Ron and Dave Brown question, but it just seems like it's a long time. And then 30 days for the final approval, that seems high. I think we can get it done faster than that. If we want to. If we don't want to, that's a different story. And last one for your thoughts. Under emergency action. So if somebody does something without the permit, remedy mitigation disaster, blah, 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 blah. They were applying a permit, take any lawful, however, such a person. So if a person does something beyond what is an emergency, does that trigger a fine? So I get that they can do the emergency issue. They have 24 hours to apply for the permit after that's done. But if they do non-emergency work after that code enforcement can, that triggers a fine? Okay, something else to think about. and I'm sorry, I have one other one. So if a tree, hold on. What do they call them this? Contractors. So contractors break the rules it said that the mayor and council, at the recommendation of the director of community development and or the manager, can remove them. Does it really, I mean, I'm fine with it going to the council, but does it need to? I mean, I'm comfortable with Dave or Ron Kirk saying, hey, you violated this 3 times now, your registration suspended. Again, something to think about. I'll send this.
Okay, that's it, Rob?
There's a couple of other minor things, but you can read it. I'll let you
Yeah,
guys.
so whatever highlights, I mean, some of it seems grammatical, some is just tying up loose ends. Some might even fall into ordinances as far as penalties anyway for violating an ordinance. So
One thing you
look
may
at
not be aware of, though, one thing you might not be aware of is that there, we were thinking of having people actually pay a licensing fee here and everything else, but it turns out everyone that we want doing this work is licensed by the state. It's actually state licensing for this. And then
Yeah.
we want these people to register with us, you know, and possibly some other towns do this. We give them some kind of a tag to hang on the truck or whatever it is that shows that they've been
to
licensed.
identify.
Maybe change the color every year. So if someone calls and the police are called or something like that, they show them the thing, and then in a permit, they show them we're licensed and we got a permit, and they're good to go.
Mhm.
I mean,
Okay.
you know, registered with us, not licensed by us, registered with
Right.
us.
Right, gotcha. Okay, that could work out.
The purpose of getting the permit is to make sure that they've received a copy of the ordinance and know the rules in Ocean County.
Right, there's no surprises.
Right.
No misgivings if something happens, and if we find them, they can say, here's what happened.
Right.
Yeah. Okay,
Thanks for the careful reading, Rob.
Yeah, I got it just in time on a slow day. So
he got it at 4 o'clock and he banged it out.
I don't, Ken and Norm, I don't have your email, so I'm just gonna send it, forward it to them.
That was under 15C. You didn't look for it.
Rob, send it to me, your comments to me as well.
You got it?
Okay, anything else we have? Anybody else have comments? Look good, guys. A lot of work went into it. I think we're getting closer to the working document. I guess other than us making any tweaks ourselves before the next meeting, to put something together for a introduction.
Our goal is to have this approved by Arbor Day,
Okay,
which is April.
April, right. It's on my calendar.
It's better though. We don't have to wait for Arbor Day. We can get it done before.
That's true.
Arbor Day.
There you go,
Right.
for it.
We could. Okay, I think we may.
So,
Good stuff.
so just for clarification, are we trying to introduce this at the next meeting or we need more time?
Well, probably in February at least. I think we can
Okay.
get it done, and at least introduced in February, so you can have action in March and then codified by the April date.
Sounds good.
So maybe not the February 10th one, but the following one
Could, depends on how many comments we all have on it, but could be ready,
could be ready by the 10th. Okay.
could be. All right. All right, thank you, guys. Norm, Ken, Ed, thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.
You're welcome.
We'll
Job
probably-
well done. Job well done, guys.
Okay.
Now, do we have, Dave, we have any other business we're going into now? We're gonna go into closed, or does anybody else have anything from the public?
I have no further business. I have nothing for the closed session.
Okay, anybody out there, Jess?
No, there's no one.
All right,
No.
why don't we go
I
into our,
I don't think I have anything critical for the close either.
Do you want to
clo-
just leave and come back for the regular meeting at 7?
take your dinner break, you mean?
Yeah, if no one, does anyone have anything for closed? No?
No.
No? Is
Okay.
everyone in agreement
All
for
right.
that?
Sounds good to me.
Okay.
Seeing a little, now, is there another log on, Jess?
It's the same one.
Same one, yeah.
The
Okay.
same one as this one.
Okay, I'll get
Okay.
it.
Jesse, thanks
Yeah.
for
You
sending
know
that
what,
link.
Chris?
Oh,
Chris,
you're
you might want to stay on.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
might want
right.
to put it on.
I'm giving that some thought as well.
It's my phone though. I need it.
Okay.
You're on your,
Should have used a different phone.
get a burner phone.
All right. All good. I'll see you guys in a little bit.
Okay.
Bye-bye. All right, Jesse. So let's call the meeting of January 27th, 2020 to order. Have the roll call, please.
Mayor Siciliano,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Napolitani,
Here,
Council Members Achara.
Here.
Donlin. I see her. Fisher.
Here.
Okay.
All right, everybody please rise for a pledge allegiance and then remain standing for a moment of silent prayer thereafter. I pledge allegiance
allegiance to the flags
of the United States of America and to the republic
for
which it stands, one nation, under God, visible,
with liberty and justice
for all. Okay, thank you. Seated. The notice requirement for the Open Public Meeting Act for this meeting has been satisfied. A copy of the annual notice was sent to the Asbury Park Press, Coaster, and posted in Town Hall and filed in the office of the municipal clerk on December 9th, 2021. There are no fire exits since we're remote. I do want to say, anybody that's out there in the public that's joining us, this is a recorded meeting. It's a town meeting. We expect you to have proper behavior during our meetings, even though you may be home in your living room. We ask that you don't chew loudly or have animals barking or any of the ambient noise because we record these meetings. These are professionally recorded meetings. All right, so we need you to just be on your best behavior if you can. That'll be great. All right. Anybody from the council have any reports before we get started? Rob?
Yep, just a quick one. The Chamber of Commerce, Greater Ocean Township Chamber of Commerce has extended the scholarship application until January 31st. So you can go to the website, gotc.org, if you are still interested. The 31st is the deadline. Thank you, Mayor.
Great. All right. Marge? Margie?
Was she frozen?
Or she's on mute.
Oh, nope. Now she's on mute.
Okay.
Oh, there she is. Okay. Is she frozen?
The feed kind of, I don't know. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, I think it's fixed. Everything slowed down and the Pledge of Allegiance kept going on even though I saw everyone sitting down, so it was a little bit off sync for some reason.
All right, you have any comments, Marge? Council comments?
Oh, no comments, no comments.
Great. Dave?
Yeah, I just want to tell everybody there's a big storm coming tomorrow and the next day, so be careful out there. Just, you don't need to be on the roads. Don't be on the roads and let our DPW guys do their job. That's it.
Right. Johnny?
no report, Mayor. I'll just echo his sentiments on that one.
Right.
It'll be a fun one.
Yeah, no, we're expecting to get some snow. We're gonna get upwards of a foot. So, folks, we'll keep you posted as always. Have the mayor's page going with constant updates and letting you know if you don't see a plow after a reasonable amount of time, you can always text me or send me a notification and I can follow it and track it for you. Also, I'm trying to put together the Shovel Brigade again. It's the volunteers that we had last year, students that came out and helped out with the seniors if they need it. And we do it at isolated locations such as the developments because we're not trying to shovel 200-foot driveways or anything like that. I wouldn't send the students that are volunteering off to do that. But to help clear out a car after it's been plowed in or clear off the snow from a car of somebody who can't otherwise get to it, that's helpful. And it's proved to be helpful. So I put on there to contact Tracy Berkowitz if you want to sign up for that. They're available if we need you. If we were going to do it this time around, probably be something on a Sunday afternoon or early evening order, after the storm has come and gone, and give the other plows the opportunity to clean up themselves to see how they do if we're needed at all. That's all I want to say. Okay. So the purpose of the public portion is to solely ask questions, understand resolutions that appear on an agenda is not an occasion for a public hearing on an ordinance All questions not related to the item on the agenda should be asked during the public portions comment at the conclusion of the meetings. Is anybody from the public out there, if you have anything as to our consent agenda or resolutions that appear on the agenda, now would be the time to state your name and address for the record. No? Okay. Seeing or hearing no one. Someone please offer the resolutions. Let me see, we have 22019. Let me turn my page. Right on through 22023. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Achara,
Yes.
Donlin, Fisher,
Yes.
Naplatani,
Yes.
Siciliano,
Yes. Tonight we have vouchers in the amount of $7,749,052.45. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Achara,
Yes.
Donlin,
Yes.
yeah, Fisher,
Yes.
Naplatani,
Yes.
and Siciliano.
Hang on, it's a lot of money. Let me look it over.
Right.
Yes. Yes, I'm okay with it now. All right, resolutions tonight for individual action. We have 22024, authorize the acceptance of the following grants. All right, for year end in 2022, Safe and Secure Communities Program. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Achara,
Yes.
Donlin,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Naplatani,
Yes.
Siciliano.
Yes. 22025, authorize a maintenance contract for the Police Communications Console Equipment and Wireless Communication Electronics, Inc. for the period of January 1st through December 31st, 2022, at a cost not to exceed $18,000. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Achara,
Yes.
Donlin,
Yes.
Fisher, Naplatani,
Yes.
and Siciliano.
Yes.
Did I say
22.
Rob?
What's that?
I wasn't sure if I said Rob's name.
Oh, I don't know. Rob, your vote?
I voted.
Okay.
Okay.
2226, authorize the purchase of 222 Ford Interceptor utility KSA all-wheel drive vehicles from Buyer Ford of Morristown at a cost not to exceed $64,741.56. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Achara,
Yes.
Donlin,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Naplatani,
Yes.
Siciliano,
Yes. 22027, authorize professional service contracts for the year of January 1st through December 31st, 2022 for the following: Financial Advisor Services, Northwest Financial Group, LLC, at a cost not to exceed $15,000, and Risk Management, North American Insurance Management. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Achara,
Yes.
Donlin,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Naplatani,
Yes.
Siciliano,
Yes. 2228, authorizing the extension of the installment plan for those taxpayers who missed the payment deadline for the first installment of their special assessment that was due January 1st, 2021.
is that a train?
Not sure. Someone has their phone open. If you can mute it, please, from the public. Thank you. Someone please offer.
I'll
Offer.
offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Achara,
Yes.
Donlin,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Naplatani,
Yes.
Siciliano,
Yes. Okay, 2229, authorize a change in custodian of petty cash for the following: various township departments, Jesse M. Joseph, Township Clerk, and Police Department Criminal Investigation Bureau, Detective Sergeant Matthews Jackowitz. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Achara,
Yes.
Donlin,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Naplatani,
Yes.
Siciliano,
Yes. 2230, authorized change order number 1 for the 2020 road improvement program awarded to Fernandez Construction, Inc., increasing the contract by $201,000. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Achara,
Yes.
Donlin,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Naplatani,
Yes.
Siciliano,
Yes, that's for picking up some extra road work to be done, so that helps us get more of the pavement done this year. 2231, authorize the following 2022 contracts for the William F. Larkin Golf Course at Colonial Terrace. A, Green Chasers for $12,000. Vic Gerard Golf Cart Maintenance, $19,872. And Brightview Golf Maintenance, that's the one who does all the work out there and keeps it really looking nice, $218,476.72. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Achara,
Yes.
Donlin,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Naplatani,
Yes.
Siciliano.
Yes. 2232, authorizing a contract with Spatial Data Logic, Inc. for the creation, updating, and maintenance of the Township of Ocean's National Geomatic Systems at a cost not to exceed $90,000. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Achara,
Before I vote, which I think I'm voting yes on,
Yeah.
Mr. Manager, can I ask you, I missed it. I didn't ask this in the meeting. I missed it
Neither one.
in our workshop meeting. Can you explain what that is, please?
Wait, say that again, Councilman. There was some cross talking going on or something.
That's fine. Can you just explain what the creation, updating, and maintenance of the National Geomatic System is?
I probably cannot. Let me see here.
These are our records, Rob, for downstairs in our building and zoning department. And Geomatic, before that, I think we had Laser Jungle.
Jungle
doing the
Laser.
same- Jungle Laser. Am I right, Jackie? Jesse, on that one?
Oh,
You like that?
thanks, Bill.
So this is it, Councilman. This is in reference to the SDL.
Yes.
Yes, that's the mayor is absolutely correct. And that's the transferring over from Jungle Laser to SDL.
And and I apologize, is that the back-end software that's going to allow us to do all of the tracking?
Yes, it'll set up a dashboard and the like, and we'll be able to track each department and have reports printed out at various workshop meetings.
Very good. All right, thank you. That's what I thought. I just wanted to verify.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Yes,
I'm sorry, the way you phrased the question, I got confused. Thank you.
didn't mean to apologize. Yes, Jesse.
Okay. Donlin,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Naplatani,
Yes.
Siciliano,
I'm going to vote no, only because I didn't get enough information. My bad. I didn't really research it enough. So as far as, the transfer from Jungle Laser or Laser Jungle, was it?
Jungle
As
Laser.
the differences, what they were doing, et cetera. So I should have reviewed it closely. I will take another look at it. Okay. 2233, authorizing a memorandum understanding between the Township of Ocean and the Visiting Nurse Association of Central Jersey Community Health Center, Inc., to provide COVID-19 testing services to the township residents at a cost not to exceed $30,000. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Achara,
Yes.
Donlin,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Naplatani,
Yes.
Siciliano,
Yes. Okay, 2234, amending engineering contract award to Leon S. Avakian, Inc. for engineer services related to 2020 roadway improvement program at a cost not to exceed $36,000. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Achara,
Yes.
Donlin,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Naplatani,
Yes.
Siciliano.
Yes. 2235, authorizing amendment to the retirement health savings program. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second?
I'll second.
Achara,
Yes.
Donlin,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Naplatani,
Yes.
Siciliano,
Yes. And 2236, adopting the amended 2022 temporary budget. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second?
I'll second.
Achara,
Yes.
Donlin,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Naplatani,
Yes.
and Siciliano.
Yes. Okay, at this time, we're going to open up the comments to the public. Anybody from the public has anything germane to Ocean Township and to Ocean Township business, now would be the time to state your name and address for the record. And please be mindful of the 5-minute rule so others would have a chance. Is there anyone out there, Jesse?
I see
Yes,
4 people. Yep. Linda, do you guys want to talk?
sure, if we can.
Sure.
Linda and Chris Law, we live at 102 Cold Indian Springs Road.
Okay.
Can you hear us? Can you hear us okay?
Yep.
Would like to go on the record on 7 points related to the proposed purchase of the Kepwell Springs property by Ocean Township. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, we own, as we said, the property at 102 Cold Indian Springs Road. And we wanted to point out there's 7 points that we wanted the council to know about. And we speak on behalf of ourselves and our neighbours, 101, 102, 103 and 104 Cold Indian Springs Road. I think we're actually meeting with Mayor Siciliano on Sunday about this topic.
Yes, correct.
Thank you. The first point that we wanted to make is that the council members know that our property line is on the shore of the pond right at the water line in Kepwell Springs property. And as an example of that, I believe that some of the council members actually walked around the perimeter of the pond when they were looking at the proposal to buy that property. Around 1/3 of that shoreline is owned by our property and by our neighbours, the Waltons, 101 Cold Indian Springs Road. That's not owned by the Huxleys that own the Kepwell Spring property, right? So around 1/3 of that shoreline is owned by on our property. Since that's the case, the reported public use of the pond would mean that members of the public would be trespassing on their property. You know, if they wanted to use the shoreline, if you like, that's actually on our property. As I mentioned, the 4 homes that I mentioned, 101, 102, 103 and 104 Cold Indian Springs Road, are joined in our opposition to the township purchasing this property. We purchased our homes with a specific intent to peacefully and quietly enjoy the seclusion of our location. We believe that the township's purchase of Kepwell Springs will negatively impact both our peaceful enjoyment of the properties and the resale value of our homes. I'll hand over to my wife to just button up the last few points.
Yeah. So we believe that safe ingress and egress to the properties, our properties, would also negatively be impacted by public, assuming that they could come down our portion of the road to park and to access this area. So they would thereby be trespassing through our properties to gain access to the pond. We oppose the intention of the subdivision as far as that goes, for that to become public use property. And we would propose that because of the negative impacts to us, that we would, excuse me, I have allergies. We would respectfully request that a full traffic impact assessment be completed, as well as an environmental impact study, before any of that would be able to take place.
I think we lost you.
And finally, as taxpayers to the township, we combined have quite a significant tax portion, we believe that spending up to $2 million to purchase this small piece of private property. Oh, sorry.
Nothing. We're listening.
I'll start again and if, oh, sorry. We believe as taxpayers to the township that spending up to $2 million for this small piece of private property is not a wise investment of our tax dollars.
Okay,
That's us.
We just wanted to read that into the record.
great. Thank you. Anybody else? No? Okay. All right. Well, we'll meet on Sunday. I'll go over all those points with you. I don't see that's going to negatively impact anybody. I think the other uses that it could be, if we don't buy it, would be more of a detriment. Every tree on the property would have to come down for a developer to purchase it. That may be a bigger burden, but we can talk about those things. I mean, we don't have to have any aggressive plan as far as recreation there at all. It could just be a pocket park. As far as the value goes, it's a great value. I think $2 million, it's already money that's already earmarked in our open space trust fund, just so you know. It's not money coming out of your pocket now. It's already money that you've been putting into that. And the bond will be funded by that. There's other properties I was trying to save at one time, a similar acreage over at Deal and 35 for twice that amount. So I think, you know, without compromising our contract with the sellers, I think it's a fair deal. I'll say that. But we can talk more. We'll have an intimate setting. We'll sit and you can ask me all those questions and I'll be glad to answer them all and tell you what our plans are, could be, or if anything at all. How's that? Sound good?
It sounds good. I'd also think that it might be of use to notify the other adjacent property owners,
You'll be
ourselves and,
notified.
yeah, all the ones, I understand that that's part of the process.
Yeah, part of the process, everybody within 200 feet are going to be notified. But I don't want anybody to think out there at all, for the record, since everything's on the record, there's going to be some high impact, intense park where there's going to be thousands of cars pulling up over there. It's going to be a park that's used by the folks in that neighborhood only, really, or maybe recreation would bus kids over during a summer portion of a program to introduce them to, you know, part of ocean history that's there. You know, when I was a kid, we used to swim there. I don't know if that's going to happen anymore. They're telling me the laws and the rules have changed about swimming in local ponds from 1964 till now. So I'm sure that may or may not happen at all. And it just might be something to show, to have and behold and say, isn't this a nice park? Isn't it great that we saved this piece here? And it's a historic piece, as you probably know, living around it. It's steeped in history, really. Anyway, we'll talk more on Sunday. How's
We
that?
appreciate that. In fact, I have lots of family members who used the pond when they were growing up, when it was public land as well.
Yeah.
However, it's not public land anymore. And
No.
we don't know how the public would be kept off of our private
Well, we'll talk about it. I'll show you how.
property if it were put in that type of use. So that's a real concern for us.
Okay, no problem. I'll hopefully assuage most of your concerns. If not, we'll let some developer get it and put townhomes up. All right, anybody else? No? Okay. Jesse, anybody else out there?
I don't see anyone raising their hand. There's a Jack and a Mark and a Tim. No? No.
All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for joining us. Great meeting. We're going to go live at our next meeting in February 10th. Anybody has anything come out, but it's going to be a really special meeting. We're going to be swearing in our new chief, a few of our police officers, and honoring a memorial honoring for Marshall Conklin at that meeting. That's in the works now with the Wanamassa Fire Department as that develops. So let everybody know about it. But we hope to read in something for the family at that meeting also. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I'm going to adjourn the meeting. Have a second.
Motion to adjourn, second, whatever.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Opposed?
Nay.
Okay.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey.